women should listen to a man, or men should listen to a woman when they start asking for toys and to do certain things, that it's because he's not satisfying her.
That's not true, though.
That's not true. I didn't agree with that. I was like, that's a
I think
stretch.
it's the way she asked it, the way she introduces those things in the bedroom. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to bruise your man's ego. Because sometimes you get a man to agree to anything when you're in the actual act. So let's be.
But then that's probably the perfect time to say it. Like, move your head a little to the right, you know.
Sometimes a little soft redirection is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's all in your delivery.
And if you like toys, you have to make your mate feel comfortable with those toys. Let him know. And I've said this before, that toy is not your enemy. That's your teammate. You guys are both going to get there together to help me achieve that goal. Us achieve that final finale.
One off day.
You are allowed to have an off day.
But
we were watching movies and drinking before we, started.
It's Friday night. Listen, you were here with us on Friday night. We will not complain. Go ahead. What were you saying, Christine?
I was saying
I'm done.
The freaky part is definitely subjective because
it's subjective. Yeah, that's fine.
That's going to determine how comfortable you are with that person and your freak level. Let's be honest. I always say there's two different types of comfortability. There's just the regular comfortable with the person, being around them, being in their space, you're in a relationship. And then there's that sexual level of comfortability where, you feel like you could try new things. You can experiment with things and not feel like you're being judged in the bedroom. So some people say they want the freaky, but can you handle certain people's level of freaky?
That should be one of the most vulnerable places, though, where you should be able to
articulate what you want.
Yeah,
so
and
both
say,
of your needs can be met.
And I saw a video actually, interestingly, today that a woman was saying that women should listen to a man, or men should listen to a woman when they start asking for toys and to do certain things, that it's because he's not satisfying her.
That's not true, though.
That's not true. I didn't agree with that. I was like, that's a stretch.
I think it's the way she asked it, the way she introduces those things in the bedroom. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to bruise your man's ego in the bedroom, especially if you are still being satisfied, even without bringing those additional things into the bedroom. Like, it's the way you introduce certain things, and be mindful and respectable of your man and his opinion, and don't bruise his ego, especially if it's already good, without introducing new things in the bedroom.
Do you think men find it easier to communicate their needs and wants in the bedroom versus a woman? And if so, why?
I think absolutely. I think it's easier for a man to communicate how they want to be pleased.
He's gonna let you. He's gonna say, "Move."
There you go. Put your head right here, please.
Lay down right here.
Can you put your head right here?
Go this way. Let me see.
But why do you think that? Why do you think women have a more difficult time communicating with their men what they want?
I think it's you don't want to bruise your man's ego. You don't want your man to feel like that he's not satisfying you. But I also think that with communicating and being open with one another, you're comfortable. You should be able to comfortably talk to your woman or your man about anything. Like, listen, we got to keep this thing going for 20, 30, 40, 50 years if we're able to. So look, we're not going to be able to keep that going by just doing the same old thing day in and day out. Like, so you have to have that communication. Like,
I think at any point in time of man, actually me and my husband was talking about this earlier, just because, sometimes I'll read, we'll talk about whatever the discussion is going to be tonight, just so I can kind of get his view on certain things. And one of the things that we were saying, what he said is that I think that out of any time that a man will listen about anything that a woman tells him to do, more than likely it will be in relation to what's going on in the bedroom, because men want to please. And So he said it's all in the way that you say it. But he was like, if you communicate that, that'd probably be one. If you have a man that don't ever listen to what you do, when it comes to sex and intimacy, like in the bedroom, that would be the one area in which they would not mind taking direction from you to tell them what they like, what you would like, because they aim to please.
Now I have a question to that. Is that are we having that conversation when we're in the heat of the moment or we're not in the moment? Because sometimes you get a man to agree to anything when you're in the actual act. So let's be
Well, then that's probably the perfect time to say it. Like, move your head a little to the right, you know.
Sometimes a little soft redirection is nothing wrong
Right.
with that.
Right.
It's all in your delivery.
Definitely.
It's all in your delivery. What do you think, Shantae?
No, I absolutely agree. I think that you should be honest. I think it's so important. If you like toys, you have to make your mate feel comfortable with those toys. Let him know. And I've said this before, that toy is not your enemy. That's your teammate. You guys are both going to get there together to help me achieve that goal. Us achieve that final finale. And it can be great for both of us.
I think the only time men are mad angry with the toys is when that toy is excessive in the moment. Where
now, if the toy takes over,
then we got a problem.
Have sex, you like, baby, wait a minute, let me get my toy. Like, wait a minute, now you almost feels the man. I'm sure the man feels like, why we can't have sex without this toy? Why is the toy being involved every single time? So I think that's where they tend to kind of start to have
destruction of nerve endings.
He can no longer get you to climax because the toy, you used to the toy now.
You got to be careful with those toys.
Well, some people can go without climaxing at all without the toys. So it's like either
that is true too.
But I think that
that also, Shantae, that speaks to conversations about pleasure, though, because
the body.
If you're not, do you even know also how to please yourself? I think a lot of people also lack in that department as well. But I think
how you gonna be able to tell a man how to please you if you're not in tune with your own body?
Well, I think that's for people who can please themselves alone, but they're trying to, so they incorporate, because sometimes the toy does help a little bit. Anyway, it goes. Each person is different. Each woman is different. I hope that you communicate with your mates about what you guys like going on, because people like freakier stuff than that, and just have open communication and make sure you guys are on the same page, because I think that you should be compatible in different areas and sex should be one of them.